This was a crazy offseason in college football. The transfer portal was wild, and we saw the coaching carousel move like never before. With coaches going all over the place, there were actually a number of coaches who didn't jump ship, but they might be looking at a new program in 2023. Here are 10 coaches that enter the 2022 campaign on the hot seat, meaning if things go wrong, they could potentially get fired during or after the season. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. We'll start with Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns, a team that has bigger expectations than any other team on this list. In his first season last year with Texas, they got off to a hot start, but after their loss to Oklahoma, they really fell off and finished the season 5-7. They had the program's longest losing streak in nearly 70 years. Expectations are going to be high in Austin in 2022. They had one of the best recruiting classes in the nation and had a really solid offseason when it came to the transfer portal, and they're poised to make a deep run in the Big 12. Now, I personally think Texas is going to be pretty solid in 2022, but if things don't go well and they underperform again and finish the season below 500, a change might be coming in Austin if things really go south. It feels like Scott Frost has been on the hot seat for numerous seasons, but this truly has to be a do or die year for him. He's 15-29 during his tenure with Nebraska, and there just hasn't been any improvement yet. When he was hired, he was expected to be the savior of the program, but they haven't even had a winning season yet. Although Nebraska went 3-9 last season, they were in every game and they easily could have finished above 500, so I guess there's something to look forward to this upcoming season. With the way the team's looking this year, you'd have to imagine they're at least going to reach a bowl game. Their current over-under on wins is set for 7.5, so the expectation is that they win 7 or 8 games this year. If things start off rough for the Cornhuskers, or if they finish the season under 500 yet again, you'd have to imagine that's the final straw for Scott Frost. David Shaw has been the head coach at Stanford for over a decade. He's the winningest coach in the history of the program. However, things just haven't been going well with Stanford over the last few years. Last season was their worst winning percentage since 2006. They've won only 11 games over the last 3 seasons. I know David Shaw has accomplished a lot during his tenure there, but at some point you'd have to think a change would be needed if the losing continues. This one seems very tough, again because he's accomplished so much during his time with Stanford, and is loved by essentially everyone. But if things just hit the fan and Stanford finishes the season with only 3 or 4 wins, maybe they decide it's time for someone new. When this hire was announced, I personally hated it. Then, as the years went on, I grew to love it. But now, I think the marriage is coming to an end, and I think this has to be Herm Edwards last year with Arizona State. Although ASU hasn't quite met expectations, they haven't been awful as they won 8 games last season, which for the Sun Devils is a successful season. However, things seem to be trending downwards. ASU lost a lot of talent this offseason to the NFL and the transfer portal. Not to mention, they still have an ongoing NCAA investigation, and their latest recruiting class was terrible. I think it's going to be a rough season in Tempe for my Sun Devils, and if it gets bad enough, I think Herm's going to be gone. With that being said, Ray Anderson is actually one of the worst athletic directors in all of college, so I wouldn't be shocked if he keeps Herm, despite them winning maybe 4 to 5 games. Up next, we have Florida State head coach Mike Norvell. Since becoming the head coach of the Seminoles, he's gone 8-13. Florida State has the talent to win games, but they've just been falling short of expectations. Their recruiting classes have been great, and they've done well in the transfer portal, so this seems like it could potentially be a do-or-die year for Norvell to get them over the hump. Now, they don't necessarily have to win the ACC, but they at least have to show that they're able to compete in the conference. The next coach on this list is Auburn coach Bryan Harsin. After leaving Boise State, his time at Auburn was nearly cut short after just 1 year. He somehow survived an onslaught of postseason issues, including transfers, allegations of player and staff mistreatment, and an internal investigation that did not yield information that warranted a dismissal. If the information did warrant a without cause dismissal, he would have been owed a buyout of approximately $18 million, so I guess that's why they kept him. The Tigers also weren't trending in the right direction to close the season as they dropped their final 5 games. If that carries over into the 2022 season and there's more drama that unfolds, he might be gone before the season even ends. Dino Barbers is the next coach on the hot seat. After he won 10 games at Syracuse in 2018, things have just been trending in the opposite direction for the program. They've won only 11 games over the last 3 seasons, but that was largely due to a 1-win season in 2020. With the exception of that 10-win season, Barbers has had a losing record in 5 of his 6 seasons as the head coach for Syracuse. Now, if they were to finish with another 5-7 season, I don't think that'd be the end of the world. I mean, this is Syracuse we're talking about. They're not going to be competing for the ACC. But if Syracuse fails to make a bowl game for the 6th time in his 7th season, maybe it's finally time to make a change. When Geoff Collins was hired by Georgia Tech back in 2018, it was considered to be one of the best hires of the entire offseason. However, it's been really bad for the Yellow Jackets. He's won only 9 games during his first 3 seasons, and he's actually won 3 games every year, so there's been no improvement. But I guess you could say he also hasn't gotten worse. Gotta try to find a silver lining with everything here. He's also yet to win consecutive games during any stretch. Now, I'm not quite certain what the expectations are down at Georgia Tech, but it certainly can't be winning only 3 games every season. At this stage, winning 6 games and reaching a bowl game would be like winning a national championship, since they'd be doubling the season average in wins. Maybe they're able to win 6 games this season and he can hang around for 1 more year. Colorado head coach Karl Dorrell is next on the list. The Buffs had a solid 4-2 campaign in 2020, but they proceeded to go 4-8 in 2021, losing all their momentum from the previous year. Going back to the 2020 season, they've actually lost 10 of their last 14 games. The problem for Colorado is that their roster just doesn't look good this year. The few good players they did have all left via the transfer portal. Not to mention, they have a pretty difficult schedule as well. This is another example of not exactly knowing what the expectations are for Colorado, but I don't think they want to see another season with fewer than 4 wins. The final coach on our list is Jeff Scott from South Florida. It's been an awful 2 years with him at the helm, as the Bulls have gone 3-18 since 2020. 2 of those wins have come against FCS programs, so not a whole lot of competing against FBS teams has been going on. The upcoming season certainly looks to be better than previous years, as they've done a great job by adding some talent via the transfer portal. It's hard to imagine they win only 2 games again this season, but if they do, you'd have to guess that would be the final straw for Jeff Scott. It looks like it has to be bowl game or bust in 2022 with him. Then again, this is South Florida we're talking about, so maybe it's just going to take 4 wins to save his tenure. Well, those are 10 coaches who I think are on the hot seat as we enter the 2022 season. Who do you think gets fired among all the names I mentioned in this video? Is there a coach that I didn't include that you think is going to be on the hot seat? Let me know who you think it is down in the comment section below. Before you leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, then this is definitely the place for you. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.